Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball Podcast, episode 111. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm here with Jaren Wilt each and every week, and we are going to be bringing you the news and notes on all 11 Division I schools in the state of Indiana, because in 49 states,
it's just basketball.
I can't believe we're actually 1 month away from having a bracket. We will be here in this studio reacting to the selection show and printing out a bracket on that printer you can't see.
Was that printer there last year?
Yeah, because we printed them out.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
A dozen brackets.
I couldn't remember. But yeah, it is very exciting. I was actually, what was I doing? I was something around baseball coaching. We were talking about something. We were talking about doing something, I think on the 15th or the 21st. Yeah, it was doing something on the 21st. I think we were planning like a coaching clinic thing for one of the local little leagues.
Okay.
And I was looking at my calendar and I was like, just to make sure I didn't have anything on the 21st. Mm-hmm. And I looked down and I was like, well, wait a second. Yeah, I don't have anything yet, because the coaching clinic would be like 10 a.m. before games tip. I was like, but I'm going to be pretty busy the rest of that Saturday.
Yeah, what's the first tip on Saturdays? Like 12:15?
Usually, yeah.
12:30-ish.
And I was like, yeah, because Selection Sunday is a week before that.
Yeah, that's the first weekend, man. That's the first weekend. That's my Christmas, right? Like that's the best. If you hear some interference, we got some dogs going on in the background, so that's a pleasant experience. Hopefully it's not coming through too loud. We'll try and talk over it. But yeah, I mean, we are 1 month away, and the bad news is now officially, I mean, they couldn't anyway, but now officially not all of our teams can make it in the NCAA tournament, because Southern Indiana has been eliminated from tournament contention. We'll talk about that when we get there and talk about that. But
yeah, that's sad.
The other 10 are fighting for a chance to be in the tournament. So
yeah, a couple teams are fighting for the same spot naturally because of the way the conference boils down for the low and mid majors that we talk about.
And one of our teams would have to be a team who literally has not lost.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
uphill battle for some.
Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh, dude.
That would be. I'd probably.
They only have one loss, but it was to Ball State in the MAC
championship. Obviously, but we'll talk about what it's going to take for Ball State to get to that point in general anyway. But before we do that, we are going to talk about our power rankings. And we can't talk about our power rankings without talking about our friends at Crow's Nest Coffee. 15% off every order using promo code TSOB. Every time I say that, it gets brought to my attention by some people. They're like, what does TSOB mean? Well, we're very cleverly made the acronym for the state of basketball, TSOB. So for anyone that wonders that, just for putting that out into the ether. But it's TSOB for 15% off every order, not your first order, not your last order, every order. And without further ado, our power rankings are as follows. I'm just gonna break the ice now. I'm not gonna bury the lead. They're the same as they were 2 weeks ago.
Just like my coffee that I make in the morning, the same as it is every time.
Yep, and it's always Crow's Nest Coffee. But for those of you, 2 weeks ago was a long time away. So the refresher, right? So at number 11, we've got Southern Indiana. At 10 is Ball State. At 9, we've got Evansville. 8 is IU Indianapolis. 7 is Indiana State. 6 is Purdue Fort Wayne. 5 is Valpo. 4 is Notre Dame. 3 is Butler. 2 is Indiana. And 1 are the Boilermakers of Purdue. I think, we've talked about it a couple times thus far this season, the kind of the minor shuffles that occur. Mm-hmm. I really think we're just kind of at the point in the season where, like, things probably aren't going to change much. Some of these teams have between 3 and 4 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams have up to 6 based on their conference. And I just don't.
I think you could see, you know, there are some scenarios where, like, if PFW has like a horrendous end to the Horizon League, I could see them dropping to 7 and Indiana State moving up if Indiana State plays a little bit better. Or like if Ball State goes on a run to end the MAC season, I could see them moving up from the 10 spot to maybe the 8 spot. You know, if they're going to be like in the MAC tournament conversation, I think that's when we would see some shifts. But other than that, yeah, I think it's like pretty settled unless Indiana wins out and Purdue loses out. You know, so it would have to be something insane.
Yeah, and I think that's really kind of what I was kind of getting at is like there are obviously scenarios where these things do shift, but in general, I feel pretty certain that we're gonna probably ride these power rankings out the rest of the season again, unless something absolutely crazy happens, which obviously we hope for. We hope for all of these teams to just go an absolute heater of runs. But we'll see. We'll see. And I think we just get into it now, right? So Ball State, number 1 in alphabetical order. They are Torvik rank 313. That is down 13 spots from 300. They did go 0-2 this week. They're 8-17 overall and 3-9 in the MAC. They lost to Buffalo 63-53, and then they lost to Kent State 75-68. Big takeaway for me is obviously both of these games relatively close. They weren't blowouts by any means. 10 points is it's kind of a big margin, but it's still
they're both
10
winnable
points.
games.
Yeah. The big thing for me is just like their defense has been performing pretty efficiently, which you'd kind of expect from a Mike Lewis team. But their offense is just not doing them any favors.
Yeah, I mean they went cold and down the stretch from Buffalo. Only scored 2 points in the last 5 and change.
Yeah, so I think that's like it's this pendulum of yes, obviously we want their defense to perform well. It's likely going to because it is a Mike Lewis coach team.
But you gotta put the ball in the bucket.
Through the hoop. Yeah. You gotta put the ball through the hoop, and I think that's what's holding them back in a lot of these games.
Tony Bennett tried. He did his darnest to win without putting the ball through the bucket as many times as he could. But yeah, I mean, you know, almost had a comeback, like came back close and almost had it there against Kent State. Got within 1 with like 5 minutes, but just couldn't do it. Got killed on the glass. I mean, right now we're looking at like, can they make the MAC tournament? Right, they're 3-9 in the MAC.
Yeah.
And 8th place right now is 5-7. So yes, they can. Right?
Yeah.
They absolutely can.
And I kind of want to think about. So they've got 6 games remaining, right? They're one of our teams that, you know, the top certain number make the conference
top
tournament.
8
Not everyone's
both,
guaranteed.
Thankfully, that we can just rely on that. And then, the Big Ten
the
is
Big
like
10 is the top 14. Yeah. But.
And I think the ACC is also not everybody now.
Oh yeah, because of the Pacific Coast, Atlantic Coast Conference teams.
Bro, the Mid-American Conference for football is going to have Sacramento State.
That's true.
Nothing says Middle America more like Sacramento.
So their remaining 6 games, right? They've got Ohio, who's in 6th at 7-6. They've got Akron, who's in 2nd at 11-1. Okay, that's you kind of can probably throw that game out. UMass is in 7th at 6-7. Northern Illinois is 12th. They're 3-9. Western Michigan is 10th, 3-9. Central Michigan 9th, 4-8. So wait, is that right? No. Because Ball State is in.
What?
I wrote Central Michigan 9th.
Okay, let me pull up Ball State.
So yeah, help me out with that.
Okay, so the MAC right now, Ball State is.
They're 3-9. They're in 11.
They're
okay.
3-9,
okay.
And 8th place is Buffalo at 5-7.
Yeah. So that Buffalo loss obviously really hurts
I guess
them.
they're tied for 10th if we want to be particular about it.
Right. Yeah. So that Buffalo game really kind of hurts them. But I mean, so they got to win 3 at minimum, maybe 4 of these remaining 6. The problem is Buffalo's where they're trying to get right now.
Yeah.
Right. And Buffalo's remaining 6 has 3 very reasonable wins, which means that Ball State has to win 4, realistically, assuming Buffalo wins the 3 that they're supposed to. I think Ball State's maybe only favored in 2 of these remaining games.
Yeah, because Buffalo is favored against Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, and Northern Illinois, and then they are just 6-point underdogs to Toledo and Massachusetts, and then they play Akron where they're supposed to get smacked.
Yeah. And so this is going to be one of those situations where we're going to be sweating it out.
We're going to be doing some tiebreaker shenanigans. Yeah, Ball State is not favored. Their closest is a toss-up against Central Michigan, a 1.5-point underdog to Northern Illinois. They play Akron, Ohio, and Ohio. So that's tough. So if they can win against everybody who's not Akron or Ohio, then they'll be pretty good.
The best case scenario is I think Northern Illinois and Western Michigan are common opponents between Buffalo and Ball State in the remaining. So you got to win both those games, and you got to hope that Buffalo loses one of those games, and then you got to win 2 more games, and then
right. And you absolutely have to beat Central and Western Michigan, right? Because they play them both.
Yeah.
They are the teams that are standing right there with you.
Yeah, those are the 3 teams.
Yeah, those are your last 2 games. There's a chance it comes down to who wins between Central Michigan and Ball State.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. I
hate doing this.
Less than excited about it. But I was looking at that. I was like, okay, let me look at these opponents, where they're sitting in the standings, what their records are. I also want to look at Buffalo, just because obviously Buffalo, and then UMass. If they can win against UMass, that's going to be huge for their favor, because UMass is in 7th.
Bump them down.
Yeah. So it's going to be really intriguing.
So we'll be on MAC tournament watch for the rest of the season here.
Yep.
Let's talk about Butler. Cool. They went down from 67th to 74th this week. They had an 0-2 week, unfortunately, which brings them to an even 500 on the season. They are 13-13 and 4-11 in the Big East. They lost to UConn 80-70, and then they lost just today on Sunday. They lost to Seton Hall 63-56. Unfortunately, in the UConn game, Finley Bizjack did sprain his wrist. He then did not play in the Seton Hall game. Seton Hall game was tied with like 5 minutes to go. They were maybe they were up with like 5 minutes to go. Ended up not winning that one. We didn't catch most of the tail end there because we were preparing for the show. It was a 6 p.m. tip. But I think one thing that you wanted to talk about was, like we had texted a little bit about, was the Dan Hurley comment at post game after UConn.
Yeah. So, Dan Hurley had some very positive words. I don't have his exact quote up, but he pretty much said, he was like, Thad Matta is a great coach. Mm-hmm. It's like, Butler can be very successful. They just don't have the money to be successful.
He said he's seen how much NIL they're working with, and with that, Thad Matta should be the coach of the year in the league.
Right. Pretty much saying that they don't got a whole lot of money.
They have no money, and they're still constructed a good roster that's been decimated by injuries, but shouldn't be 4-11
for sure. Which I think is really interesting. I'm curious. I saw a lot of people kind of hate on that, kind of be like, oh, Dan Hurley just wants to face a Thad Matta coached Butler team more often because it's a guaranteed win,
right? Because they've literally never beat UConn.
Yeah, which is the curse of the 2011 national finals. Was where I'm coining it.
Well, I hated watching that game. I think it was disgusting to watch.
Yeah,
it was a horrible game all around.
Yeah,
bad juju.
But it's food for thought in general, because it's like, okay, I know a lot of Butler alum. Mm-hmm. They got some pretty deep pockets,
right?
And just the history.
They're not spending money on football.
Yeah, the history around the program. I'm very curious. And Thad Matta's been around the program forever.
Yeah,
he he was. I mean, I was telling you this for years. He was poised to be the next athletic director.
Right.
Kind of situation.
Yeah. Like that's where we thought he was going to go back. Like he wouldn't go back.
I thought he would go back to be an
athletic
athletic.
Yeah. There.
And so I'm just curious of like, if maybe that comment helps some Butler fans like reach into their hearts and bank accounts and send some more money their way, because Butler can be. Look what Brad Stevens did when there was no money to throw around. Right. Granted, I mean Brad Stevens, a phenomenal coach. Different levels, probably.
He's like the Wemby of
obviously different levels, but
it's like the Wayne
Mata
Gretzky.
is still a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
Like he's been very successful in his career.
I think it's just I think now the fan base, at least the fan base that I interact with and see on Twitter, has turned on Thad Matta, and they want a fresh look at Butler, which I don't know if I'm ready to get to that point, but I think it's completely reasonable to move on. But I think if you're going to move on, you absolutely, regardless of if you move on or you keep him, you have to invest in the program. If you're not investing in the program, you're going to continue to be last, and you might as well not be in the Big East. Like, there's no reason for you to be in the Big East if you're not going to spend Big East money.
Yeah. I think the thing for me in general, I think the unfortunate truth right now for Butler's season is it's a lost cause.
Yeah.
I think that there's, for a while they were a potential bubble team. Certainly not anymore with the injuries that they have.
Yeah. It kind of all started when Jalen Jackson got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Stink came on and played well and took that role great, but then Finley Bizjak's out. Oh no, Stink's out too.
Yeah,
so.
Big East second leading scorer in the Big East, Finley Bizjak.
Yeah,
by the way,
like Michael Ajayi and just out there just trying his darndest.
Yeah, and what I want to see from them, and I don't think it'll happen,
is wins.
Not even that necessarily. yes, but I just want to see them starting to play some of the younger guys. I want them to build some confidence in the younger guys, not only for next year to like have them ready, but also to build confidence in them that they're like, okay, if I'm playing in these minutes now, maybe I don't leave.
Right.
Maybe I'm getting these reps now,
it's
and it's like,
so interesting as to like, is Jalen Jackson going to come back to Butler? You know, like if they fire Thad. So we've got some interesting off-season conversations gonna be circling around Butler for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Evansville, another team that's reeling a little bit here. They went from 287 to 298 in Torvik, so they are flirting with the 300s here, which is now where we want our teams to be. They went 1-1 this week, though. They had a 6. There brings them to 6-20 on the season and 2-13 in the Missouri Valley. They beat Illinois State 88-80, and then they lost at Southern Illinois 86-60. So big win over Illinois State, which is a really good team. Like, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Illinois State is right up there at the top of the MAC. Like, that's a very surprising win. And then
Missouri Valley.
What did I say?
The MAC.
In the MAC, in the Missouri Valley. And then Southern Illinois lost. That one's a little baffling because they are not as good as Illinois State, and you shouldn't be getting beat by 26.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is I saw a post this week. It was the day of the Southern Illinois game about Leaf Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he's been averaging 18.1 points per game, 5.5 rebounds a game, 4.5 assists. That was prior. That was like prior to the Southern Illinois game, the last 8 games or something, the last like 8 games prior. So he's coming alive. He's a guy that's really like started the season really slow.
Yeah.
Obviously performed really well in his Euroball league that he was in before coming here. And I like to see that just because he's a freshman, right? Mm-hmm. He's a guy that's like, okay, obviously Evansville's kind of in the trenches this season. They've got him. They've got Quinnett, also a freshman. So like the fact that those two are coming alive now, and they're playing well, and obviously like they're still not stacking wins yet. A lot of that has to do with Joshua Hughes missed some games. Obviously Turnbull's missed some games, 2 big pieces. So like, yeah. So like getting those two going, obviously we kind of saw it with Pizzato last year. He unfortunately transferred.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they can stick around just because Hughes has another year.
Yeah.
Right. Quinnett's a freshman. Muller's a freshman. Turnbull, I don't know. He's a senior, but he only played 9 games his sophomore year at Butler. So I don't know if he like
got a red shirt
technically
for that.
can get another year of eligibility. But like if those 4 can come back, I think having a year to play together, performing individually, they're performing well. Obviously, the pieces got to come together. I think that there's a really bright future for that core. At minimum, Hughes, Quinnett, and Muller.
Yeah,
if they stick around. I
think it's just going to be so interesting on like what happens, because like this is another team that could very reasonably move on from their coach.
Yeah.
Like I think that it's not crazy for them to do. I don't know that they will. But I don't know. It's going to be such an interesting. I fully expect Muller to get poached. You know what I mean? And go somewhere. And that's the thing that sucks. So I don't really know where to think of these, you know. Like it's hard for me to think of like a team that is 2-13, has like the Southern Illinois performance where they will not win a game in Arch Madness if they play like that. But then they also play like Illinois State. Like they could win they could win Arch Madness playing like that. Like they literally could. But like, I don't know where to think of these guys. They do need to get him going. Like Leif Muller, you're absolutely right. He needs to get going. Like they need to rely on the bucket getters. But
and he has started to.
The bucket getters aren't getting buckets.
He has started to, aside from the Southern Illinois game where he couldn't buy a bucket in 35 minutes.
Hey man, this is almost good for 26 points. Like,
but it's gonna be interesting to see how things kind of start to shake up this off season.
They're gonna be fighting for their life in the tournament. So let's move on. Let's move on. We got a lot of other teams to talk about. IU went down 1 from the last time we talked about them, 23-24. They went 1-1 this week, 17-9 overall in the season, and 8-7 in the Big Ten. They beat Oregon at home. That was 92-74 win, pretty good win, and then they lost at Illinois 71-51. So what do we take from this week other than Lamar Wilkerson? I saw a meme of him. It was like the really, really crappy house with like the little canopy driveway with a nice car, but then it was Lamar Wilkerson as the car, which I did feel a little bit accurate at times.
Yeah, my thing, I just want to shout out Lamar Wilkerson having having a great season, not getting the respect he deserves nationally.
Yeah.
I think just from the talking heads, right? Aside from us, and some other, IU folks, but second in the Big Ten in points per game. He's 14th nationally. Pretty good. He's 15th in the Big Ten in steals, first in the Big Ten in field goal attempts, second in made field goals, 5th in 3-point percentage. He's second in made 3-pointers in the Big Ten and 15th nationally, which incredible. We saw it obviously several times this season, twice this week alone, when he dropped 41 against Oregon, which was 5 points shy of
breaking the record again.
Of breaking the record that he already broke this season. Another sneaky thing, Sam Alexis, sneakily 9th in the nation in 2-point field goal percentage.
That's crazy.
Helps when a majority of your buckets are dunks.
Yeah.
But that was obviously before the Illinois game. The Illinois game, to me, obviously, like the Oregon game, weird at times, but it turned into a blowout, which you love to see. The Illinois game, my biggest takeaway is that, like, Indiana, we've known this all season, not a very big team. Tallest guy is 6'9".
And
In Illinois' average height is 6'8". I'm pretty sure it's something I saw.
Yeah, they're huge.
Aside from Kylan Boswell, who's pulling that down quite a bit, they're just big. And I think that Illinois was able to compromise on that. They dominated the glass. I don't even want to talk about the disparity in rebounds. but it was a lot.
Yeah.
They started the second half abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
It was
They could not stop them.
Yeah. It took forever before they scored more than 7 points. Like quite literally
I have not
over half of the second half.
I've not seen Illinois' defense like look this good probably all season. They legitimately, like, I think this is a team that could make a really nice run in the NCAA tournament. I think they're poised for it, especially with Wagler being the guy who can just go
he
nuclear.
threw up I texted you about it. He threw up a reverse, just kind of like a heave, went up, bounced off the top of the backboard, swish.
Yeah.
Like
they looked like a Final Four caliber team when they played Indiana today, and I think that says more about Illinois than it necessarily does against Indiana. Their defense was like insane. They had just locked in on defense, and so I don't necessarily think that the 20-point loss, maybe this is copium, but like I don't think the 20-point loss is like that big of a deal. Obviously, you want to have this for a resume, but like that's just kind of what you would get with like them playing at their best and IU playing not their best, you know?
Yeah, and I think like
that's probably what you would expect from like a comparable team.
There was a
like
time when Indiana was, I think they got within 9. They got within 12 or got within 9. I kind of started to lose interest a little bit here and there throughout the game.
Reasonable.
Got distracted with other stuff, but it's like they were kind of fighting back, but then every time they got close, Illinois just pulled away.
Yeah.
And I thought Indiana's defense looked pretty good for a while because despite only scoring 7 minutes in the first like 16 minutes of the second half, it was like the first 7 points. It might have been like the first 11 minutes or so. But despite that, it was still, I'd say, a respectable score when you consider you're playing a top 10 team at their crib with a lottery pick on their roster. I just think that like the way I want to look at it is, the last thing I want to say about Indiana is I think this gives them an opportunity to now have this film. You see what a team that is much larger than you did to you. So how do you take that? And I still think Indiana's a tournament team.
Yeah.
I don't see.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't see a world where they don't make the tournament.
Right, and losing this game does not hurt your resume. You're supposed to lose this game. It's a top whatever team on the road, or top 10 team on the road.
And I think that this gives them stuff to review to get them ready for the tournament. They can go back and say, okay. And I think that's the kind of guy that Jaren is.
Yeah.
DeVries. He's said that multiple times, that he's like, okay, we've got some things to review, and he's made those adjustments. So I think that this is what you want to see. And now you have a week off almost going into Purdue.
Yeah.
Gives you time to, okay, let's forget about this game and get ready to go play another juggernaut at their crib. In. Yeah. But Indiana State, they stayed the same in Torvik. They're 2-0-7. They did go 0-2 this week. They're 10-17 overall, 3-13 in the Valley. They lost to Murray State 74-72. Then they lost at Valpo 76-75. What do you got?
This game was Tuesday night, the Murray State game, I think.
Sounds right.
Tuesday or Wednesday night. I was downstairs biking, flipping between all these games, and this one was one of, it was Tuesday night because it was like 5 losses. This was what it was. It was 5 losses, and I was sitting there on the bike, dying on the bike, just watching.
Do you have a TV down there, or do you use an iPad?
I use an iPad, just watching team after team lose, and I was just like, okay, Indiana State's gonna be the one to get it done. They just absolutely, I had vibes that they were gonna win the game. They absolutely came out of the start of the game abysmally. Like, they outscored Murray State by 20 in the second half and still lost. Like, their first half was horrendous, playing without a center, but Enel St. Bernard was great. He was trying to do his best to win the game, but just couldn't do it. And maybe this is one where if it's a 45-minute game, they win, but game's only 40 minutes and not a good look. My note for Valpo is box out. But if you box out and grab one defensive rebound on Valpo's last play, you win the game.
Yeah.
That's my note.
So the big thing I want to point out about this Indiana State team, I've seen a lot of negative about them this season. They've just been struck. You know, we talked about it all the time with Southern Indiana the last few seasons, is these close games, losing close games. Well, Indiana State's been the epitome of that, especially in the Valley this season. So in nearly every conference game, aka all but 5, these have been the results. Loss in overtime where they were tied at regulation. They won, tied at regulation. So they won in overtime. Lost by 3 points they lost and they were within 3 points with 2 minutes left. They lost by 2. They lost by 3. They lost by 4. They were within 2 with 19 seconds left. They lost. They were within 3 with 17 seconds left. They lost by 2. They lost by 4 after being tied at regulation. They lost by 2. They lost by 1 where they led with less than 10 seconds left. Their average conference margin in scoring is minus 2.8. So all of these games on average are within 3 points.
They're edging us.
Yeah, that's just all they need. They're just right. They're right there every single time.
Yeah.
Excluding 5 games where there were some blowouts.
Everything but the win. Everything but the bagel. Everything but the win.
Yeah, pretty much. They did win one of those close games that they had back December 29th against Belmont, where they won in overtime. But like all of these games, it's just they're right there. They're right there. They're just, I don't know what they're missing. I don't know if it's having a dog, but it can't be that because they got the machine and Cam Swagner.
Yeah.
So like it's just, and obviously the circumstances are different with all of these games.
Better ATOs down the stretch, I guess. I don't know. Better plays run up at the end. I don't know, to get a bucket. But again, box out once, win the Valpo game.
Yeah. So it's
maybe they're better for it, for having all these close games, and they'll go in and they'll win. Maybe they'll go on a tear in Arch Madness, and they'll win all their games by 1.
Win's a win.
Who says no?
Anything else on Indiana State?
No.
All right. IU-Indy. They are 281 in Torvik. That is up from 295. They did go 0-2 this week, unfortunately. They're 7-21 overall, 3-14 in the Horizon League. They lost to Northern Kentucky 84-81. They lost at Purdue Fort Wayne 83-78. 2 close games. What do you got?
I think that this team has a trouble keeping, is my nose. They have trouble keeping leads. They were leading. No, they should have beat Northern Kentucky. They were, I think, up against Northern Kentucky in this one, lost by 3. We're not leading against PFW, but at halftime they weren't leading, but they were up midway through the first half. I just think PFW is kind of a bad matchup for them because the PFW is also a team that wants to run. Yeah. PFW is just a team that I think shoots a little bit better and has guys who are better at finishing in the fast break. And so I think that was a bad matchup for them, but I don't know, man. It's 3-14.
Yeah,
a lot of close games.
To your point about trouble keeping leads, do you think it's a shot making thing? Do you think it's a fatigue setting in because you've got guys that aren't used to the system running the system where they're going hard for 40 straight minutes?
Because I think they're conditioned. I think it's just a personnel problem. I think it's just a skill issue. Yeah. Because you look at it, Milwaukee, they played Milwaukee. They were up 4 at half. They lost by 4. Youngstown State up 5 at halftime, lost by 9. At Milwaukee, up 2 at half, lost by 12. At Northern Kentucky, up by 4 at half, lost by 9. Green Bay, up 3 at half, lost by 10. At Air Force, up 1 at the half, lost by 13. Long Island, up 7 at half, lost by 4. They're blitzing people and it's working. I just think they just don't have the Jimmies and the Joes, right? Like, I don't think they have the right Jimmies and Joes to
do you think that's
make
because
the system work.
A lot of them have come from the D2 level, they've now moved up, or do you think it's just guys that just aren't fit for the system?
Some of column A, some of column B. I think generally, I think it's just the players aren't. I mean, you have guys like D'Agostino, obviously, fine, totally fine. You know, but like, I think generally the division, you know, they were obviously at the top of Division 2, but like, he didn't. It's not like he brought his roster with him. He didn't bring his roster with him. He pieced it together late, and so he didn't get the level of athleticism, the level of basketball that he needs. And I think that is ultimately what's just happening, what's going on with this team.
Yeah, the way I see it, I kind of, in that same vein, is they just don't have the right personnel, right? And we kind of knew that going into the season, and we've talked about it several times. I think it comes down to like bench depth. If you've got like 2 more guys that are starter level that come off the bench, right? They line switch.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's very much a characteristic of the what they run, the system. Having, you know, a little bit more bench depth, having a couple more guys that, you know, maybe could be starters, kind of interchangeable. Then you've got those guys in your second unit. That it's like, okay, now we've got, when we're making these changes, we do still have several guys that are of the same quality of our starters to help us maintain the lead, and it's that better balancing act. So. I was just curious.
I mean, they're sitting at they're sitting at 274th in Torvik in 3-point percentage, and they're 356th in 3-point percentage defense.
Not a better team has there's no team in the nation, no team has a better opponent adjust than them, which just means that they play much better against better teams than they do bad teams.
Yeah.
They also, I mean, they kind of don't play well. I mean, also kind of inversely means that they don't play well against bad teams. But which is interesting to me, because you compare that to like what the potential of the system is, and how it's like, okay, we can compete with anyone that's better than us. We just can't compete with teams that are on our level or lower. I think that's really fascinating to look at and consider. Because again, I think personnel is a big thing, and we kind of knew that going into the season.
Yeah. But you know, thought it would be more like the Ohio State at the beginning of the season, where the system just kind of works every once in a while, where like, you know, it's hard to keep up with the system, but the league's figured, you know, the league's a good league, so
yeah.
Notre Dame went up a little bit here from the last time we talked about them. 91 was what they were. Now they're 85. They went 1-1 this week. They are 12-14 overall and 3-10 in the ACC. Is that right? They've only played 13 games. That's ridiculous, if true.
I can fact check. Keep going.
It sounds right, but they lost at SMU 89-81, and then they beat Georgia Tech at home 89-74. So 89 was the magic number this week, I guess. Harrelson had 23 points against SMU before he sprained his ankle and did not play in the Georgia Tech game. And a former president was there to see it. George W. was there. So he's an SMU guy, SMU grad, I believe. And so I think so. He at least lives in the area. So you'll see them on the sideline for SMU games every once in a while, which is fun to see. And then my notes for Georgia Tech are, I mean, Cole Serta is a guy who I was very high on. He had 37 points, hit 7 threes. That's a career high, obviously. They turned up their rebounding in the second half, out-rebounded them 21-6, and just really won on effort and the back of Cole Serta. He is a guy that I think if Micah Shrewsbury comes back next year, I don't know that they're necessarily ready to fire him. I don't think they should. I think he should get another year. If they can get Brady Kohler, Jalen Harrelson, Cole Serta, obviously Braden Shrewsbury is not leaving, and Marcus Burton back, if they can get those guys back, fill in the pieces, I once again am saying that they will be very good.
Yeah, so,
I'm once again thinking that.
I think it's like, I mean, first of all, this SMU game I thought was very competitive for most of the game. It just boiled down to SMU rebounded substantially better and also converted on those rebounds, which is that's just where that's kind of you're gonna pull away from a game. But yeah, I mean, conference record aside, right? Still, we talked about it several weeks ago. At this point, maybe a month ago, I don't remember. Very young team.
Yeah,
not many seniors. Other seniors, not very impactful minutes. There's there's a lot of bright spots in the team. To me, I'm with your point. I think Shrews deserves at least another year.
Yeah. Especially with he's never had a fully healthy team.
Yeah, yeah, and in the world that we live in, where every team relies on building their roster with the transfer portal, Shrews hasn't really done that. He's still recruiting freshmen out of high school. Like he's still recruiting guys out of high school, so he's got to develop the guys a little more.
Yeah,
let them kind of come into their own, and then he's kind of filling the gaps with transfers.
Yeah,
which I think is so different than every other program in the country. It's like, oh, maybe we get 2 freshmen out of high school, but then 8 transfers, right? 5 transfers, whatever that looks like. You're fundamentally changing your roster. He's building these guys from the ground up.
And I think that's something that, I don't know if this is...
I would like to see it as a factor to consider keeping him. It's like, I'm looking at this as like, okay, yeah, we're not a win today program. We're a win in a couple years program.
I think that fits with like the ethos of Notre Dame too. Like did you know it's hard to get into Notre Dame? Like it's hard to transfer to Notre Dame. Like you gotta get guys who are gonna be able to get accepted into Notre Dame as well. So that could be a barrier, but also like I mean,
and they're not broke.
That. You know that. I mean, I don't know about the basketball donors, but I know the football donors aren't. So I think it's a good. I like the way he does it. I think that they would be fine had Marcus Burton not gotten hurt again.
And Jalen Harrelson adjust a little quicker.
Yeah. Like if you have them back another year, they're not getting blown out by a lot of teams. Like they're playing generally competitive in close games. And like you can and should recruit over Braden Shrewsbury. You know what I mean? Like you can do better than Braden Shrewsbury. And I think that they can find a guy, because Braden's been up and down, but like you can find a guy that can contribute more than that. And I think that Notre Dame should give him another year and try and find guys that are gonna cook for them. Yeah,
I mean, think about it. All the games they lost last year on last second plays.
Yep.
Right, where it was Burton had to be the guy.
Yeah.
I think you throw Jalen Harrelson into that mix.
Yep.
And you've got him and he can be the guy too. You can draw a play up because Shrews got to play for it. Where it's like, okay, Burton's got the first look. If he can get to the rim, great, just because his touch is phenomenal.
Burton
if
and
not,
Harrelson,
you've got Harrelson as your backup.
You can go downhill, and if you collapse on them, you have Cole Serta.
Yeah.
And Braden Shrewsbury, like, you're fine. You're fine. You're going to win a lot of games. Like, in the ACC is very top heavy, so like you can definitely make the tournament if you have this team and this coach back.
Yep. Purdue Fort Wayne, they went down in Torvik. They're 261 down from 221, so kind of on a slide here. They went 1-1 this week. They're 15-12 overall, 9-7 in the Horizon League. They lost at Green Bay 76-59. They won over IU-Indy 83-79. Big thing for me, unfortunately, I was looking at it, I was just curious just because I've been kind of dreading the last few weeks of Purdue Fort Wayne basketball just because it's been a struggle at times. So I looked up, I checked the stats, checked the metrics. February has not been their month. They're currently in the month of February alone, they are the 353rd ranked team in Torvik.
So like 10 spots from the bottom.
Relatively, around there. Obviously, or not obviously, but for those watching or listening, this was before the IU-Indy game, so I don't know how that has changed. I'm actually curious I'll look that up while you are sharing anything. and this team, just in general, it's been a team. They've had some really high highs and some really low lows.
Yeah.
Which, like last week, like Youngstown State beat the absolute brakes off of them.
Yeah.
But then, like 3 weeks prior, Purdue Fort Wayne beat Youngstown State.
Yeah, this team is interesting. They've taken a lot of big losses, which is like not
it's pretty uncharacteristic of them.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to Kaufman's teams a lot. Like they take big, they'll get blown out in the non-conference by design, but like in the league, they are usually not getting blown out, and they're competitive, or they'll go cold down the stretch and they'll lose by 5 or something. But like losing big time at Green Bay, and I don't think Green Bay's great. Like Green Bay's better, but like Green Bay's not that good compared to Purdue Fort Wayne. And
well, Green Bay has been playing better after Gottlieb left his show.
It's true.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
But like,
but still, it's
Purdue Fort Wayne's a better coach. They shouldn't be getting blown out like that. And I think this is another. This might be a Jimmy's and Joe's issue. Their shooting's not as hot as it usually is. It comes and goes. Like we saw, I think like set a record for like most threes attempted or made or something this year, for a PFW team. So it comes and it goes, but like I think that the February stretch is rough. I mean, they had that game at Green Bay that was on ESPN, that was on national TV, and they got their breaks, beat off them, and so
yeah. And I understand that obviously February we're only 2 weeks in. So like small sample size. They've only played a couple games in that span.
So like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, it was exactly 4. But they moved up. They're 338 in the month of February.
Okay.
So the IU Indy win gave them a little bit of boost, but still, it's been disappointing to say the least, to kind of watch how this team has gone. Anything else on
I mean, the IU Indy, I talked about this when we talked about IU Indy. I think that it's just the game is conducive to the way that Kaufman likes to play. They like to run, they like to shoot, and so it kind of worked out for them. And it's kind of like, all right, we'll let you play your game, IU Indy, because we like to play that way too. Like everyone was probably excited about that, and so I do like to see that they played and won. I am glad that they rescheduled the game at IU Indy. That's going to be their last game of the season now. They rescheduled that because it got snowed out when we got like a foot and a half of snow or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're replaying that game. But you ready to talk about our next team?
Yep. I will. I'll get us started. So Purdue is next alphabetically. They are currently 7th in Torvik. That is up 2 spots from 9. They've been on a tear lately. They did go 2-0 this week. They're 21-4 overall, 11-3 in the Big Ten. They won at Nebraska, 80-77. Then they won at Iowa, 78-57. So a little road trip they took, not all the way out west, but slightly out west. They came back with 2 wins. And the Purdue Boilermakers are our Hickory Team of the Week. So across these games, right, in the Nebraska game, we saw Oscar Clough score the go-ahead bucket with 5.9 seconds left in overtime. That was huge for them. Braden Smith had 13 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, which is his 25th career double-double, and 2 rebounds away from his first career triple-double. Fletcher Lawyer led the Boilermakers with 18 points. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Trey Kaufman-Wren had a career-high 19 rebounds. So true team effort there. And that Nebraska win held off Nebraska after they surged back after Purdue was up big. So they held off, got the win in overtime. And then in general, right, Purdue's 4-game winning streak, they've only trailed for a total of 7 minutes and 43 seconds. So they are on this 4-game winning streak after, having lost 3 straight, in the games prior. Purdue's bench in this Iowa game scored 31 points. They went 10 of 22 from the field, 6 of 14 from 3. So we saw in the Nebraska game, right, the starters, full team effort there, everyone contributing. And then that Iowa game, we saw the bench show up big and help sustain that lead. So that is why we felt that the Purdue Boilermakers deserved to be the Hickory Team of the Week for Week 15.
Big week for Purdue, right? Especially when certain people on the internet were saying that they were reeling and not doing well. I don't know where this narrative came from that like Purdue was sucking.
Like, I don't know either, but it's come from so many places.
Every Purdue fans, every fan base has been like saying it, and I was like, "What are we talking about?" Like, sure, Braden wasn't posting like 10 assist nights, and like the shots weren't falling for some people, but like, I never felt like they were bad.
Yeah,
like,
I mean.
What?
I mean, like I mentioned, so they had the 3-game losing streak, which is what kind of started everything. All the hate that they've been getting.
God forbid you lose to your rival in a competitive rival, like a rivalry game. I don't know.
And then to 2 other good teams. But then this 4-game winning streak that they're on. Like I mentioned, they've only trailed for 7 minutes and 43 seconds. My math's not too great, but 4 games is 40 minutes, so that's 160 minutes of basketball, and they've led for 154 and some change of that. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty good. I guess there was the overtime in there, so it's not 160; it'd be 165.
Right, but like still, you beat Nebraska.
Yeah, and after that 3-game skid that they were on, right? They're the second ranked team in Torvik in the month of February, where the 4-game wins are.
Yeah.
So like they're playing well. Like,
I mean, they are one thrown beer on the court away from losing in Nebraska. So there is that. But,
but like you put in perspective, Purdue has 8 quad 1 wins. That's tied for 3rd. In the nation. There's Duke, who has 11, and Michigan, who has 10 and first and second. So they're right there with, again, 2 really good teams. I don't see a lot of hate about those teams.
Right. Like, and you see like, obviously there's things that like you see on this team that are like, oh, if they don't win a national title, if Purdue doesn't win a national title, it's because of their defense. Everyone said that the whole time, but like if Arizona doesn't win a national title, it's because they can't shoot the 3. Like everyone has something. Like pretty much everyone has something, right? And so I don't think it's. I mean, the Jeff Goodman interview was so weird, dude. So weird. Braden Smith clearly hates him.
I would too.
He's talking.
Jeff Goodman, known Purdue hater.
Yeah, and he like was asking him weird questions about like basically saying that they've sucked recently and how are they doing. And Braden's like clearly online knows what people are talking about. Yeah, like
honestly, hot take. I think Purdue needed those 3 losses. Get them out of the way now.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way now so they know what it feels like to lose and don't want to experience that again. So then
I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Texas Tech loss or the Iowa State loss was enough, man. That thing was brutal. That was enough.
Probably,
that was more than one loss in one game.
Yeah, but still, I think that Purdue's still sitting in a great place. Who cares if they're not number 1 on the team in the country? The AP voters are known non-ball knowers.
Yeah, I mean regardless. They are tied for 3rd in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Michigan is 14-1, so they're 2 games. They're 2 games behind them.
But they got an opportunity to.
Yeah, that game's gonna be crazy. Movement. That game's gonna be nuts.
And we're gonna miss it. But.
Oh, you think we won't be watching it? It's absurd.
Well, we're not going to watch it in ideal circumstances.
Be on a big screen.
Yeah, which is ideal circumstances. We'll be huddled around a phone. Maybe I'll find my iPad.
I can bring my iPad if you got a hotspot.
Got a hotspot.
All right.
I mean, the Nebraska game, big thing I want to point out. They shot 46 3-pointers, which surprising to me. Not career record. Most in program history.
By a lot.
By 10 to be specific. Yeah. So great week for the Boilermakers and very well deserving of their Hickory Team of the Week award.
How many were Fletcher Lawyer? Wasn't it like 17?
Yes.
Dude was high. He was hoisting that thing just all the time. Ridiculous. Let's talk about Southern Indiana because we got to get to our other two teams here. I want to talk about some 49 State stuff that's been pretty interesting. So Southern Indiana, they went from 338 down to 344. They are 0. They went 0-2 this week. That brings them to 5-21 on the season and 2-14 in the Ohio Valley. They lost to the Tennessee teams. They lost to Tennessee State 73-71, and then they lost to Tennessee Tech 82-74. With the Tennessee Tech loss, they are the second team that has been eliminated from the NCAA tournament. The first team to be eliminated was Western Illinois, who is the only team below them in the Ohio Valley. The reason why they are eliminated from the NCAA tournament is because only 8 teams get into the Ohio Valley Conference Championship or tournament. They are now not able to make it. They had to beat Tennessee Tech to keep that hope alive, and they didn't.
It was pretty much their next, after the Tennessee State game, their next loss.
Yeah.
Ruled them out.
One more loss. Yeah. They had to. After the Tennessee State game, I wrote my notes and was like, okay, they gotta win this many games. I was like looking at it, and then it didn't matter. I deleted it all.
The Tennessee State game, right? They were up at half. Latest stinker in the second half. I mean, it was a rock fight most of the game, but then and just in the second half, Southern Indiana forgot how to make a free throw.
19. They missed 19.
Yeah.
They went 15 of 34.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
if you go 17 of 34, you're in overtime. If you make 18 of your 34, you win the game.
Yeah. So they forgot how to shoot free throws. They need to get in the gym with us and get in those free throw lines.
In the mornings.
The Tennessee Tech game, first 19 minutes, it was toe-to-toe, back and forth. Margin between the two teams never grew more than 4 points. Lead changed 4 times, score was tied twice. So very back and forth, very optimistic going into the game. It's like, okay, they know what's on the line. They're competing for it. And in general, right, all things considered, Southern Indiana shot better. They just gave up a 10-0 run late in the game, and that's kind of where it all ended. Gave up a late kill shot, in the words of Evan Mia.
Yeah. A bad way to go. Bad way to lose your tournament chance, because this was the first year that they were actually eligible after their transition.
Yep.
So, thinking of the Screagles, and it's just, I want to see
Screaming Eagles.
You can say Screaming Eagles. I'm going to be a Screagles guy till I die. They can, you know what? They want me to say Screaming Eagles. They got to make the Ohio Valley tournament first. I'm gonna stand on business. All right, I'm gonna stand on business.
Valpo, they are 157 in Torvik. That is down from 145. They went 1-1 this week. They're 14-13 overall, 8-8 in the Valley. They lost at Illinois State 86-64, and they won against Indiana State 76-75 in very dramatic fashion. JT Pettigrew.
Dog.
So after the Illinois State game, the last 2 games, so the Illinois State game and the game prior, 40 points and 25 rebounds. He had 17 points and 13 boards in this Illinois State game. Does that remind you of any similarly sized Valpo freshmen from the past
couple of years?
Handful of years,
Maybe the Valpo, the freshman of the year and the most improved player of the year, which is crazy that he won those awards back-to-back years, honestly.
Yeah, Cooper Schwieger. He was the last freshman to have those stats in a game, and only 5 other Valpo freshmen have done that in the last decade.
It's pretty impressive, dude. I thought Cheney early on in the season, like at the very beginning, I thought Cheney was going to be the freshman phenom, but I mean, I don't watch the Valley generally, other than our teams, just because just watching our 11 teams is a lot of basketball watching.
Yeah. And
then obviously there are other games that we watch too. And so I will randomly sometimes turn on like a UNI game, or something.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched the Valley closely enough to know if he's in the running for freshman of the year. He's probably going to be on the all freshman team, I would assume, just because he's been so good down the stretch. But dog, man, like crazy how good he's been.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the Indiana State game, he had 13 points and 8 rebounds. So what that would be 53 points and 33 rebounds over the last 3 games. That's great.
That is what someone called great.
Yeah, I mean, he also had a team high 6 assists. So like, he's just doing it all over the place. He 2 rebounds, 4 assists away from a triple double as a freshman. Also that 6 doubled his previous assist career high of 3.
He so in the Illinois State game, they were tied at halftime. They lost by 22. So abysmal second half. I lost the second half stats here, but they did win against Valpo, and they won it in a crazy fashion. You know, they had the ball, and if you look at I can't pull it up here, but Jaren, if you look at the probability on ESPN of just like, it was like 99. It was like 80%, and then it was like 80% for Indiana State to win, and then it boom crashed to just Valpo's gonna win. They scored with like 10 seconds left after missing a shot, getting a rebound, missing a shot, getting a rebound, missing a shot, getting a rebound again, and then finally getting one down. I think it was Whitaker. Yeah, Whitaker hit the game winner. Then they get a stop on the other end, and I wanted to find it. I lost it. Over 2,000 people in the Arc, so had a lot of people there. Like to see that. It's spreading, right? The winning is spreading.
Yep.
You had an in-state team, obviously that helps. And it's spreading. I think we're seeing a lot of momentum here for the Beacons. They are pretty close here. I think, what do they have? Lost my notes. They have 8 wins, 1 more, and that'll be their most, tied for their most since they've joined the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I was telling you this off air, I guess.
True, still.
Yeah. Off air before the show, a buddy of mine was asking just about Indiana basketball, right? What teams we're a month away till March Madness, right? What teams to look out for? Are there going to be any surprise teams? And I said, not really, unfortunately, except for Valpo. Valpo is a team to watch. They've got a great coach, obviously Roger Powell, a guy who's been around a lot of winning basketball throughout his career. He's done great things at Valpo to this point, just stacking years there. They're just getting better and better every year, regardless of turnover, right? He's a guy that's invested in his players while he's there. He understands that if they're going to leave, they're going to leave, but he's going to help them be the best that they can be while he's there. And I think there's a lot of buy-in from players. A lot of players, they obviously want to get better. They want to succeed, which is great. And we're seeing that, right? To your point, they're 1 win away from having their best conference record in a long time. So it's definitely a team to watch out for. I think that they are poised to make a run equivalent to, if not better than, their run last year that got a lot of attention. They became a lot of people's favorite team.
And rightfully so, right?
Yeah. But what the only other thing I want to say about Pettigrew, just because he had a great week, regardless of the result in that Illinois State game. There are 360 some teams in the country, right?
So this is facts. This is known. Admittedly,
there's probably at least 1 freshman on every team. I'd suspect that's probably the case.
I would be surprised if not.
Right. So like, that's at least 360 some freshmen.
There are probably aliens out there. There are probably
at least 360 freshmen in the country.
Yeah,
at least. Pettigrew became the 20th freshman in the nation to have that same 13.8 rebound, 6 assists 14.8 rebounds, 6 assists stat line.
It's triple-double watch, man.
Yeah.
It's Braden Smith numbers.
So that's to me is awesome. It's like, okay, one, that means there's probably a lot of really bad freshmen, but also,
well, I mean, I'm sure one of those guys.
There are only, to me, I'm looking at that. There's only 19 freshmen in college basketball that are better than him.
Or that had a better night. Maybe they just had a better night and they're not better.
True.
It's true.
True.
You know what, Jaren? He's so good. JT Pettigrew was so good that I decided to make him our Jimmy Chitwood Player of the Week this week. So JT Pettigrew from Valpo is our Jimmy Chitwood Player of the Week. He had 17 points, 13 rebounds against Illinois State. Put an impressive double-double out there. And that 13 rebound mark is the most in a single game by a Valpo freshman, tied with Valpo former Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, Cooper Schwieger, Freshman of the Year, sorry. He had 14 points, 8 boards, 6 assists again in their win against Indiana State. And then he has 179 rebounds this season, which currently puts him in second place on the all-time rebounding scoring list by freshmen at Valpo. He's in second. He gets 6 more rebounds. He becomes the all-time most reboundingest freshman at the university. So he's in, putting up some numbers that we have quite literally never seen before, and had a really good week and helped them get a good win with a stat line. Like you said, haven't seen many freshmen do this year. So for that reason, he is our Jimmy Chitwood Player of the Week.
Well deserved. I like to think that I had a
put the bug. You were sitting there putting subliminal messages. I walked in.
Yep. Okay, very well deserved by JT Pettigrew. Had a great week. That is the end of our last week segment for the state of Indiana. Let's look at next week. Games to be aware of. A couple in-state matchups, and by a couple I mean one in-state matchup. We've got Indiana at Purdue on the 20th. I believe that is Friday night at 8 p.m. Indiana's currently 10.5-point dogs, which means that Purdue 10.5-point favorites. Obviously, one to watch there. Not only is it an in-state matchup, but it is a major rivalry game.
Yep.
Purdue looking to get revenge after their Assembly Hall performance a few weeks ago. Ball State has a game. They play the 17th, so Tuesday at... Is that Tuesday? Yes, that's Tuesday at 7 p.m. They're at Ohio. They're 9-point dogs. We talked about they've got some ground to cover if they want to make the MAC tournament. So that is a game that is must watch because there's huge implications on the remainder of their season. We've also got Valpo, right? We talked about them. Great week. They only play one game this week. Again, trying to get to that 9-win mark. They play at UIC. They're 6.5-point underdogs, but they're playing good basketball. If they can pull that off, that'd be huge. That game is on the 21st at 3 p.m. What games do you have? Yeah,
Purdue also plays before they play Indiana. They play who I would assume is at the time going to be number 1 ranked Michigan.
After Arizona took 2 losses, yeah.
Yeah. Like, is Michigan 2 right now? I think Michigan should be number 1.
I trust the AP poll so little that I don't even pay attention to them.
Yeah. I assume they're going to be number 1. So Purdue has an opportunity to beat the number 1 team in the country and help get one game closer to being one. They would then be one game back of Michigan in the standings. So they need that. So that's big. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up game, and some words were said by Axel Lendeberg. Did you see this?
No.
He was saying that they're going to beat the brakes off Purdue. So we'll see if he's fired up. And then Indiana State, they have a game that they just need to win. They need one. Like, they've had some heartbreakers, especially Valpo. They are 4.5-point underdogs on Wednesday at home versus Northern Iowa. So I'd like to see them win that one. I don't know. For good measure, Southern Indiana at Western Illinois. They're playing the worst team in the league. Try and get a win there.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, like every game pretty much matters. But like Evansville goes to Murray State. It's going to be tough. Indiana State goes to Belmont. That's tough. So tough games out there. Ball State and Akron, tough.
Yeah.
A lot of tough ones this week.
Yeah, no kidding. So we talked about last week with the state of Indiana. We talked about next week a little bit with the state of Indiana. Let's zoom out. Now let's talk about last week and the rest, the other 49 states. So a lot happened. When we get to this point in the season, there's just wild stuff happening all the time, right? Like we've probably seen it all at this point. And you know who else has seen it all? 69% more viewers than previous years for men's college basketball on Fox. Their viewership has increased 69%, which is pretty nice, across all Fox channels. Then women's college basketball viewership is up 39% on ESPN. So more eyes are on college basketball in general this year more than ever, which is phenomenal. We love it. Obviously, we're college basketball diehards. I think we prefer that over any other sport, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both professional or collegiate.
Football
right?
is enjoyable this year, though.
yeah. I mean, college football for sure.
But yes.
But no, in general, right? We're avid college basketball fans.
I want people to watch as much college basketball as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's just kind of the mindset that we've had for a very long time. That's why we started the show.
Yeah, just ask our friends.
Yeah, we bugged the hell out of them about it. We forced them to watch games. But yeah, just seeing that viewership across the landscape is increased, I think is massive. I think that was huge positive news.
Amazing that they were able to do that with all the YouTube TV debacles that happened this year.
Well, hey, Fox was never.
Yeah, that's true.
It was never sketchy. It was all ESPN. So that news came out early in the week. A lot of other things occurred earlier in the week. One thing, so Cincinnati beat Kansas State by 30. Jerome Tang, not very happy, in his post-game press conference, went on a tangent, a tirade.
Yeah, this is his whole press conference. It was like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he peaced out.
And he said, and I quote, "This was embarrassing. These dudes did not deserve to wear this uniform." Sidebar, the dudes that he recruited. There were very few of them in it. There will be very few of them in it next year. It is just ridiculous. We have practice at 6 a.m. I'm pissed. This is, yeah. Walks out.
You know what? But
that game was on Saturday, or that game was on Wednesday.
To his credit, he's right. He's right. With the transfer portal era, a lot of the guys are going to leave, or they're going to be told, we don't really want you to come back. He's right. However, he is a basketball coach who should not be saying that out loud with a mic. He should be saying that to his assistant coach, if anybody, or like his wife.
Write that in your diary.
Yeah.
In your like.
Yeah, dude. Open up the voice memos and let her rip. But like, you don't say that in a press conference. But we buried the lead. They fired him. They fired him on Sunday. They fired him today, and I thought he was gonna get fired at the end of the season because he's been bad, and he had the Marquise Noel merchant basically.
Yeah.
And they were good his first season, sucked every other season after that. I thought they were going to fire him at the end of the season. No, they fired him, and he has an $18 million buyout, which I didn't know was that high. I heard after the season it was like going to be like $10 million or $10 million or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, they'll wait. Then maybe even give him another year because it's crazy. But apparently, I saw this. There's been, obviously this is news that happened. I think like an hour before we went live is when the news broke. And they said that, like, per ESPN sources, Kansas State is firing him for cause. They've informed him of this formally tonight. The basis for the firing is language in his contract that references any activity that brings public disrepute, embarrassment, and ridicule to Kansas State, which is a crazy thing to put in a contract because you can use that for almost anything. And that quote, he did that. No. He did that.
What's crazy is that the moment that quote happened, his agent probably called him
and was like,
and said, "Pack your office."
Yeah, he was like, "You're not having that 6 a.m. practice."
Yeah, it's.
Oh, dude, I bet.
The crazy thing is,
how
like,
quickly do you think the AD called him? I guess the 80 probably would have been there. How quick do you think the 80? I bet the 80 was blood pressure was sky high.
What I would do to be a fly in that room.
Actually, you know what? I bet the 80. No, he wasn't. He was like, "Thank you, thank you.
You just saved us $18 million.
Literally, dude. That is an 80s dream.
Yeah.
Jerome Tang isn't gonna get to live my dream anymore. It's being disputed. It's gonna be disputed. They're gonna have a big legal battle about it. I guarantee it. So they're gonna probably settle. He's either gonna get somewhere between $0 and $18 million. That's gonna happen. What's probably gonna happen is like he'll probably fight it in court, and they'll be like, "Okay, we'll give you a couple million or something," or they might just win. Like that's a pretty awesome thing to put in the contract if you're the university.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So that's just been a roller coaster.
For cause.
Did you see the Big 12 is they're using glass LED courts for the conference tournament?
I think it would feel really weird to play on, but I don't hate it.
I think it'll be sick because they use these courts for the NBA All-Star game and like the All-Star stuff, and I feel like if the pros didn't have any massive complaints about it, then it's probably okay.
Yeah,
I think it'll be cool. I'm curious to see what they do with it because it's gonna be involved in halftime, obviously pregame, I imagine, but like, are they gonna like change the color of the floor per half? So it's like when West Virginia is shooting on this basket, is it gonna be like football end zones?
Yeah.
In tournament where it's like one end zone is this team, one end zone.
I would imagine not. I would imagine it has to stay static. My thought was they should have bowling animations when people like make a three or like big plays.
I feel like that'd be distracting though.
Oh, do it, when they call the timeout or whatever, like if you force a timeout,
15-0 run, force a timeout, then you have some
dude, and then imagine it's the weird bowling animation. They'd go crazy. Their viewership would never be higher.
That'll be it. So it's gonna be really cool to see that they're doing that for both the men's and women's conference tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I like it better than that. Like, do you remember last year? It was like that weird had like diamonds on it. It almost looked like diamonds. It hurt my eyes to look at. So I like this better than that. The Big 12's always trying weird stuff in their conference tournament.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't either.
I don't hate it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like last year's court I hated it. Thursday, the University of Dayton sent out an email to students saying that they'd lose their student tickets for life. Which is like a weird statement to say specifically for life. Why not just say while enrolled? If they directed any disrespect towards the team or their head coach Anthony Grant, they're 15-9 and 6-5. Like, it's not bad by any means. Yeah, Dayton probably should be a little bit better, and they're having a down year.
Yeah.
But like the fact that things got so bad, and I'm not tapped in with the Dayton fan base to like know what's being said. But like that's just a crazy email to send out.
Soft.
That's
what it is. Soft.
You know who's also soft? University of Florida. So I don't think we talked about it on the show, but last week I think I sent this to you or showed it to you. There's like a tent city set up. I think at like Duke or North Carolina. People camping out for the game.
Yeah. Week.
For like a week. Yeah. Florida. They didn't like that, or they don't like that. Rather. They sent out an email essentially banning people from camping out. They sent out an email to all the students and said, for the safety and security reasons, the following items and activities are not permitted. Structures including tents, canopies, tables, generators, heaters, grills, or other cooking equipment, open flames of any kind, alcohol, tobacco, illegal drugs, weapons or prop weapons, use of university electrical outlets. Animals except for service animals as defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Amplified sound, littering, or blocking ingress and egress, which I believe just means entrances and exits.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, you can camp out. You can go stand in line. Just don't block the entrances or don't do anything fun. Be miserable. Hope it doesn't rain.
They're just going to sleep out under the stars, dude.
I guess. But like that's because people were there preemptively for the Florida and Kentucky game.
Yeah. I guess they're just gonna. I guess it is Florida, so like you'll have nice weather. You can sleep outside, get a bunch of bugs in your face, but
yeah, I just
wake up with a lizard on your head.
That just ruins the fun.
Yeah, let them have a tent. Let the people have tents.
Yeah,
you know what? Florida just cares about their academics. They just are an academic school with obviously they care and they want their kids to go to class.
Yes, that is fair.
Notorious. That's all they care about down there, Florida and Gaines. That's all they care about in Gainesville.
Did you see the clip of Bob Huggins at the Akron game?
At the Akron game?
Yeah.
Yes. I think you sent that to me.
Got a standing O.
Uh-huh. Bob Huggins making the rounds, man.
Dude, he was a couple weeks ago. He was at a Marshall game wearing all Marshall gear.
I did.
Has no affiliation with Marshall. I assume he just still lives in West Virginia. But yeah, he was at Akron. Obviously, coached there in the '80s. Was there for 4 or 5 years, I think. They honored him up on the video board. They put up a graphic that said "Welcome back, Coach Huggins."
That's awesome.
Standing O. Not a lot of fans in the crowd, but the fans were standing and cheering for him, which I think is very well deserved. Bub Huggins, good old Huggy Bear, is a absolute legend. I've always been a big fan of his. He just had an unfortunate end to his coaching career.
Yeah, it didn't go out the way you want to see someone like him go out.
Yeah. Caleb Love got inducted into the Arizona Ring of Honor, which is interesting.
Yeah, he played there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm glad someone loves Caleb Love.
Yeah. Did you see what Gus Johnson said?
Yeah,
about...
he murdered them, dude. He murdered them on air.
Verbally assaulted Ohio State. He
Death
said on
words.
air in the Ohio State Virginia game, which I think it was a really cool thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to what Michigan and Duke are going to do this next week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said, for anyone that isn't tapped in, the difference between Virginia and Ohio State is that Virginia paid for their players. Ohio State, they've given all their money to Ryan Day.
He's right.
Mind you, Gus Johnson also does college football.
Yeah.
So, like, that's insane. What's also insane is Travis Steele at Miami said that he's going to wear a Speedo on Selection Sunday if Miami is undefeated.
We buried the lead. We didn't even give the update. They're the only ones left.
Yeah.
We did mention...
Arizona losing.
We did mention Arizona losing in passing. That did happen.
Yeah. Not only did they lose, they lost twice.
Yeah, but we didn't put that anywhere in here.
Yeah, Miami's still undefeated. So
honestly, that Arizona, I know this is a different day, but that Arizona Texas Tech game felt like a Final Four game. Like that game was
100%
awesome. That game
100%.
Absolutely rocked to watch. And so I was really glad that we got to see that. But yeah, Arizona lost 2 games in a row, and so now it's just Miami of Ohio, lone wolf.
And I just want to say, I want the record to be known that I called it.
Yeah,
I said Miami was going to be the last undefeated.
Arizona might lose 2 or 3 more games, dude. Their schedule is brutal down the stretch.
Yeah. And not only did I say they might be the last team undefeated,
you said they wouldn't lose.
I said that they wouldn't lose in the regular season.
You said they wouldn't lose ever again.
That is
said for the rest of their program history, they'll never lose again.
That is not. Those are not my words.
You have it's on. The
Find the clip.
Darren.
Find the clip.
Clip it.
You know what else needs clipped? Duncan Powell's hair.
Dude, what is the explanation for that?
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
I couldn't find any reason for Twitter.
It's just the little patch on the back of his. It's like a mullet, but bald, and not long. On the back.
It's like he had like a goatee on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Like the old. Remember how Braden Smith used to just have the chin?
Yeah.
That's what he's got
Just
on the back of his head.
And it's not even just for this year. He had it last year too.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Speaking of him and heads, specifically necks, he almost committed murder. Bryce Hopkins, this is in the Providence St. John's game. Duncan Powell plays for Providence. For perspective, Bryce Hopkins plays for St. John's. Bryce Hopkins goes up for a layup. It's a breakaway, fast break situation. Bryce Hopkins, formerly of Providence. Duncan Powell in his first year at St. John's. Just goes up, put a layup in, fast break. Duncan Powell contests it. Not only does he contest it, he almost kills Bryce Hopkins.
It looked like he was trying to pull his head off.
He literally came down, grabbed his head, pulled it back, while simultaneously having his knee in Bryce Powell's back. Then, so he did that, right? Hopkins understandably gets up pretty pissed. St. John's players rush over.
A full-on brawl.
Yeah. Powell started throwing punches. Like,
you got to, man. I'd be mad too if my hair looked like that.
And then he got ejected, reasonably so. He walked out, and the thing that made me the most mad about this is he walked out smiling, and he's sitting there like waving his hands, like pumping up the crowd. I'm just like, you.
What are they gonna do? Suspend you for more games?
Oh, but regardless, like, either way, they didn't even win. They were lost by 10. St. John's won by 10.
Yeah.
Like, it was the most egregious thing. The dirtiest play I've probably ever seen in college basketball. And I watched Brad Davison play for several years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never seen someone try and kill someone. Although, do you remember when, oh gosh, what's his name? D'Souza from Kansas picked up the stool and was gonna hit somebody with it, and they suspended him like 5 to 8 games because he had the intention of hitting someone with a stool. Mind you, had the idea to put the stool down and not hit somebody with it, but they suspended him for like 5-6 games for thinking about hitting someone with a stool. This man tried to rip somebody's head off, got into a fight, and gets 3 games.
It's
ridiculous.
Yeah. Did you see the concession stand fire?
Dude, ablaze.
So the Georgia-Oklahoma game, in the middle of the game, got delayed because a popcorn machine and one of the concession stands just caught on fire. And not like a small fire. There's the whole thing. You think of like a movie theater popcorn machine, right? Pretty good sized. Whole thing, just bellowing
flames. Yeah.
Yeah. It wild thing to see after also immediately. I literally saw that clip and then immediately saw the Duncan Powell clip. And I was like, what the hell is going on Saturday? Because this was all Saturday.
Yeah.
Both of those things happened the same day.
Everything's on fire.
Yeah, literally. I also saw, rough game when you had to show this stat. Arkansas was up pretty sizably. I forget who they were playing. But they showed a stat of John Calipari's NBA player earnings, which was $5.8 billion. Players that he's coached have made $5.8 billion across their careers in the NBA. And they showed, along with that graphic, the GDP of several countries in which they were higher than.
That's disgusting to compare it like that.
Yeah. Then we saw Peter Griffin fade away from an Iowa State player.
What does that mean?
You know the meme? Like the picture of Peter Griffin hitting that fadeaway?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Iowa State player did.
Oh,
it was a corner 3 fading away, body curved.
Oh, yeah. He's the most insane shooter I've ever seen.
Mamlicic.
Yeah.
But
I'll let you say it.
Yeah, I
that ain't
can't.
for me.
He's their best player, though, and he hit that 3. Did you see the Penny Hardaway crash out? It's the last thing I have.
Mm-mm.
So Memphis and Utah State, they played in a very odd, yeah.
I was literally going to say Utah State's in the American now?
No. This was like one of those games just like the Virginia-Ohio State game. It's just a game for the net, right? They're trying to increase their net, which in context makes sense. This was today, by the way. Sunday, the 15th, for those of you who are listening or watching later in the week. Utah State was up 13 with a minute and a half left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then they went on a 13-2 run. And this wasn't just like Memphis couldn't hit. This was like Utah State was playing their starters still, like they were running up the score. Capped off, last bucket of the game was just a massive windmill dunk on a breakaway.
Probably better than the ones we saw in the dunk contest.
Very much so. So Penny, pissed. Right? Understandably, I think to an extent.
Right.
He was just going off the entire handshake.
Penny likes to get mad.
He goes, we came out here to play this game. You've got to have more class than that. because Memphis went to Utah State.
Yeah.
And so, like, everyone's blowing up about it. So, like, okay, why? Like, he's pissed, right? This is kind of fucked up for Utah State to run the score up. But the whole point of the game was for net rankings. For the net, large margin of victories helps.
Right.
So, yeah, it makes sense. Like, what did you expect? You'd probably do the same thing if you were in Memphis. But it also just, like, circumstantially, like, it does suck because it's putting, you know, salt in a wound.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a classic Penny Hardaway.
At least he didn't hit
out.
somebody like Juwan Howard would have.
True. But that's all I had. I was very long-winded. Apologize for taking so long. There was just a lot of things that I want to talk about that went on in the.
A lot of things
49.
happened, man, and
yeah.
I can't believe they fired Jerome Tang. I can't believe that.
I can't believe they might do it for free.
I saw, you know, one of those accounts that's like just like a screenshot of message. It's like message board freaks or whatever. One of those ones that just just find stuff from message boards. One of them was like, it was the tweet was like Kansas State hot board, Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May, because someone in the message board was like, any chance we can get Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd? No, no, of course there's no chance you could get either one of those two. Dude, they wouldn't even answer the phone. They wouldn't even, the only reason they would talk to you is to make more money on their contract. No, of course you're not going to have a chance at them. Come on. All right, so next week, let's talk about our games of the day. If you're going to watch one game, what should it be? Monday, the 16th, our game of the day is Houston at Iowa State at 9 p.m. Houston's 10-1, now above Arizona. Iowa State's 8-3. That's going to be an absolutely incredible game. I mean, that game is going to be like a rock in a hard place between offense and defense here. So we're going to see who wins that game. It's going to be an awesome watch at 9 on Monday.
Tuesday, the 17th, we've got Miami of Ohio at UMass at 7 p.m. We just talked about it a little bit ago. Miami of Ohio, the Redhawks, have not lost. At this point in the season, right? Every game is a must watch. Every game of theirs is must watch because it's just a fun little thing. Will they lose? Will they not? If I was a betting man, I would probably bet Miami of Ohio money line the rest of the regular season.
Wednesday, the 18th, our game of the day is BYU at Arizona. This is supposed to be Koa Pete and Braden Burries versus AJ DeBonsa, but Koa Pete might not be playing. He got hurt, so should be out for a little bit here, but still should be a good game. Good freshman matchup there. That's at 9 on Wednesday.
Thursday, the 19th, we've got Morehead State at Eastern Illinois at 8:30. Morehead State is one game back from first place in the Ohio Valley Conference, so you know they're just fighting for first place, hoping to go in with the highest seed in the conference tournament.
Friday, the 20th, we have VCU at St. Louis at 7 p.m. St. Louis is just great. We love Josh Schertz. Watch this team. They're so good. They should be undefeated. It should be St. Louis and Miami of Ohio being undefeated. So check in on some A-10 basketball.
Saturday, the 21st, our game of the day is Duke versus Michigan in D.C. It's a 6:30 p.m. tip. Incredible for a February non-con game. This game has huge stakes. We said it earlier. Michigan probably going into this week, potentially going into this game, number one team in the country. Duke is obviously, I think, top 5. So huge matchup to watch there. Michigan might be going in with some fire under them, depending on the outcome of the Purdue game earlier in the week.
Yeah,
but
this is a game that could be like between the number 1 overall seed, like could determine the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely one to tune in, especially for a non-conference game.
Sunday, our game of the day on the 22nd is Robert Morris at Wright State. Wright State is in first by 1 game. If they want to stay there, they need to get past 4th placed Robert Morris, and PFW was in 5th. So that would obviously help the Dons if Robert Morris lost this game. So check in on that. I forgot to write the time, so just find it on Sunday. Good luck. We'll say 4 p.m. Yeah. No, we'll say 2 p.m. I'm going to guess it's a 2 p.m. game. Final answer.
Not a lot of games on Sunday, so it will be easy to find if you have ESPN Plus. Now, before we wrap up the show, our last thing is to do our Guess the Game of the Week. For an update, Adam and I are both tied at 4 and 6. We've both gotten 4 guesses correct, 6 guesses incorrect.
Can confirm I binked it 2 p.m.
Look at you.
Completely just off total vibes of when the Horizon plays Sunday games.
Yeah. So I don't know who goes first. Who wants to go first?
I can pull mine up. Do you want to go first or should I go first? I don't care.
I've got.
I forgot. This is really embarrassing to admit, possibly. I have a note in my phone that's just bits that I want to do. Not on the show, just in life. Like, and the one I wrote down today, I started fleshing out in my head and wrote it down. And it's a bit that has to at your expense. And it's if I get someone to go along with the bit, it's going to be hilarious. You're not gonna know that it's coming. It's not soon. I'm gonna workshop this and it's gonna be phenomenal. But that was the first. That was I hadn't. You can't know because you can't know. If you know, it ruins the bit. But you're gonna completely.
It better be funny.
It will be hilarious especially if people go along with the bit. So I had that note open, and that was the first thing that I looked at, and I was like, okay, that's really funny.
I've got my guess the game open,
Okay.
so I'm gonna give you the hint first. This is the second clue I came up with.
Okay.
Different matchup. There was one I wrote down. I was like, feels a little lazy.
Okay.
Let's do, and that's also one I think I've done in the past, like past couple years. This one, the game I have for you, Adam, for week 16. My guess the game is. Listen to all the words.
I usually do.
Listen.
Sometimes.
Listen to all the words. This is very important.
Mm-hmm.
David gave a cat to his son, while a Ford rammed into a ham.
That's Davidson Fordham. Locked in. I don't know who's where, but Davidson Fordham.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
It is. Davidson Wildcats at Fordham Rams, Saturday, February 21st at 2 p.m.
Nice.
It was just fun. I looked at it. I
liked it.
I was like, David, son,
Ford, ham.
Yeah.
Rams.
They're the Rams and the Wildcats. That was just, I saw that. I was like, the other one was like, it was Tigers and Bears wrestle in the Ivy.
Okay.
Which I feel like you would have gotten just as easily.
Mm-hmm. Mine's like a similar vibe to that, actually. Not quite, but mine's like, I would say similarly, a similar vibe. All right. My guess the game is John Dutton steals potatoes from a Bengal for his bobcat.
Okay. So that's tough. Only because I don't know the schools in that area very well. So I think like the Montana, Idaho, Wyoming area.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know their mascots very well. I want to say, Montana, I think it's the Grizzlies. I'm just going to rip Montana, Idaho.
You're so close. It's Montana as the Bobcats.
Okay.
If it was Idaho, I probably would have said vandalizes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, but steal, I was like, it's a crime.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was Idaho State. They're the Bengals. So that one was that you either know it or you don't.
Yeah.
But that's Montana, Idaho State, 9 p.m. Thursday, February 19th.
Yeah, I
was like, I can get you to Idaho,
but I have to know the map.
And then it's a 50-50, right?
Yeah, I think if it was something different than a crime, I was thinking crime.
Yeah.
Because I felt like if you said vandalized, it would be a little too
Mm-hmm.
I can't say much because I gave you literally the team names and but like I just didn't think you would go that
Right.
obvious.
Yeah, I didn't want you like I would have, I think I would have gone because I was like, oh, it's not Idaho. When I was making the call, I was like, oh, it's not Idaho. I would have made it vandalized.
Yeah. Maybe it's Montana State that's the Grizzlies. I think there's a Grizzlies out there. Which is why I was
good question.
I'm curious.
My computer's at 4%. Yeah, Montana
State or the Bobcats?
Montana Grizzlies. Did I get this wrong? Oh no.
Void it. It's got to be voided. It's got to be voided.
Why did I have Bobcat? Why did I have the Bengals?
Montana State is Bobcats.
I know what I did. I looked up Montana nickname to get the right thing, and then it didn't. So I said Montana, but I could have sworn I did.
Void. It's got to be voided.
We just won't count it.
I mean,
you stay at 4 and 6, or do you want the point? Are
you gonna give me the point?
I'll let you have the point at this point. That's my mistake, I guess.
Okay, if you're gonna give me the point, I just don't want to take the loss. I feel like I don't deserve. Not that I don't deserve the loss.
Here's my thing. You did guess Montana. You did guess Montana correctly. It was the Idaho State
That's
thing
fair.
that got you.
That's fair.
I will admit, if half points were a thing, I would give you a half point. You know what? Give yourself a mental half point, Jaren.
I'll take the L. I got the other state wrong. It doesn't matter. But I do feel better about because I was like Montana's for sure the Grizzlies. I just didn't think about Montana State. So because I knew that there was a Grizzlies out there, and Montana just felt more right because I can like see the logo in my head. So yeah,
dude, I just saw.
I'll take the loss.
Someone asked us on Twitter, said neither will happen, but what's more likely? Ball State buys out Micah Lewis for $2 million, or Notre Dame buys out Micah Shrewsbury for $16 million. They're not buying him out for $16 million. Obviously, I think neither's going to happen, but I think the more likely would be that Mike Lewis is bought out.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to spend $2 million on that.
Yeah, and I think that there's more evidence to say that they should have been better at Notre Dame and that they will be better next year.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I also did see someone from Butler that multiple people, Butler fans, are already making a coaching hot board. And I don't remember who it was. Actually, I do have it saved here if I can pull this up. And
Brad Stevens, gotta be the first call.
No, he's not actually. And it's something I hadn't considered because I figured the Butler basketball guru or Butler basketball headquarters is who it was. They said, I've had my list ready for weeks. Number 1 on his list, Josh Schertz at Butler, which I think, listen, he's going to be able to go.
In the Big East.
I think he does too. But there's going to be multiple big, like, does he go to Providence?
Is Providence a better job than Butler?
I don't know.
I don't know either, actually.
Historically, yes. But right now,
the things that I would, if Josh Schertz ended up at,
I love
that. I love that.
I know it would have to come from Thad being fired, which would suck. But I want to talk about more Josh Schertz basketball. And I also think that there are going to be some Kansas State's open now.
Robbie Avila with Jalen Jackson and Finley Bisjack.
I don't think he has eligibility anymore.
I thought he had one more year.
I think he's done because he did 2 years at Indiana State.
True.
But my thing is, Kansas State's open now too.
Yeah, but is that a better job? I don't know.
NIL wise, yeah.
Yeah, but if I talk about the deep pockets of the Bulldog fans.
Yeah, but there's also faithful.
The things that Josh Schertz could do to bring it. If I'm a Butler fan and I'm seeing what he did at SLU.
Yeah.
And okay, we can have that here. We can go back to a natty here.
Right, but if you're Josh Schertz, do you and other jobs and better jobs?
You go with the guaranteed coffers,
yeah,
or you go on the potential of the coffers you could get.
And he was out there buying drinks at the bar. That's gonna play well at Kansas State. Like that's gonna play really well
at Butler, though.
It would.
Those dudes like to party, or students, not dudes.
It's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up, and I don't think it's gonna be Butler, just because of what they've shown. I mean, yes, that would be definitely a way to get boosters to pay up.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting wrinkle. I mean, I don't know how realistic he is. I think he'd be a great fit, though. And you could have him forever, basically, if you are willing to pay, and they should be willing to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Butler fans long for 2011, 2012 again. Or was it 2010, 2011?
2010, 2011. They don't talk about that at all.
No?
Dude, I still talk about that.
The potential of being able to bring that back, just because I do think that he is more likely to do that than Thad.
Yes.
In today's world of college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could do a number on the Big East, especially at Butler. Especially if they get
the level
donors.
of coaching in the Big East would be absurd.
They would probably become the best conference in basketball again.
Yeah. Ryan Hammer had a video on like the college openings. Did I send you this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember who he said for Providence.
I think he said Providence I think he should search for Providence.
Yeah. Which I think it would make sense. I think it would make sense at either place.
But he's a Midwest guy.
I know. It'd be sick. That's something to keep our eye. I hadn't thought about that possibility because I also in my mind am not
thinking about that being gone.
Yeah, thinking about that being gone.
Yeah. Speaking of being gone, the clock is showing quadruple zeros, so it's time for us to gone out of here. I didn't like that. Let me rewind. It's time for us to get out of here. Thanks for checking into the State of Basketball podcast. We will see you next time. And remember, in 49 states,
it's just basketball.